we're live, right? Hi. We're live. Yeah, that always has issues as long as it's excellent condition. All right. Sorry, y'all. Hey, everyone. We're live. It's Winston with PerfecPress HTV.com. Today, we're going to be talking all about the Graphtec cutter. We're going to be going over the software. I have a little green screen behind me, so hopefully y'all are able to see what's going on my computer. And we'll talk all about everything going on. If you're live on Instagram or Facebook right now, jump on over to YouTube. You're going to have much better views of what's going on and be able to see what's happening behind me on the green screen, on what's happening on this computer screen. We're going to be doing, again, an in-depth talk about Graphtec software and be showing various examples using the Graphtec CE7060 cutter today. Let's jump on in, y'all. So, let's get started. Allie, can you make my thing on the computer smaller in the little corner there? And here we go, y'all. So, this is the Graphtec Pro Studio software. If you're familiar with FlexiSign, this is a very similar style software. It looks almost identical to FlexiSign because it's basically FlexiSign's bones and then just made specific for the Graphtec software. It's a great software. It's really easy to use. And with one of the best cutters on the market, it makes a killer combination. So what we're going to do starting off today is we're going to do some basics. I'm going to pull in a random logo. We're going to cut it with PerfecPress Soft, stick it on a t-shirt, and we're going to show you how to do print cut with it, and then we'll see what you guys have questions of and go from there. So starting off, here's your software. When you open it up, it'll kind of look just like this. One of the coolest things about Graphtec Pro Studio is over here on the side, you have Knowledge Base. Knowledge Base is really cool because what Knowledge Base is it has all sorts of how-tos. When I was first learning this software, this is where I went to learn everything about it. It has your getting started, your basic steps, it has how-to videos, and it has a search if you're just wondering how to do something like print cut. Go to Knowledge Base, and it should give you all sorts of how-tos on how to print cut. It's a really great option here on this software. Again, that's Knowledge Base over in the side here. Also, their YouTube channel is really great to go to. Lots of great how-to videos on there, kind of like this one here. So let's move on, though, talking about vectorizing images and things like that. So you have your software, this is your design space, and you have a buddy who's got a logo. He might own a small little soft drink company or something. So let's get a logo of a small soft drink company. Let's try Coca-Cola. I've heard of them before. And you can literally go to Bing or Google, get your images from something as simple as there. And I have right here the Coca-Cola logo. I'm going to copy this logo. And I'm going to just go right back to my software, and I'm going to paste that logo into my software. Now I got a nice little Coca-Cola logo. Because it's a PNG, it's showing the background as black. What we're going to do from here is we're going to go over to the side here with the Z tool that says Auto Trace, and we're going to auto trace this tool. And then we're going to hit enter and pull it. Did the whole thing. Let's try that one more time, y'all. Should have done that differently. And some images don't always work out. Yeah, this one's not working, so let's grab a better image. Let's use Google instead of Bing. So we're going to Google Images, and we're just grabbing a Coca-Cola logo, one that looks good to us. Let's type in logo after that, that'll help. All right. Here's a bunch of them. Let's try this one right here. This one looks pretty good. So we're going to copy that image, pull it into our Graphtec Pro Studio, and paste it like so. And then we're going to use this vectorize tool. We're going to select the whole thing, hit enter, and then you're going to pull it apart. And if you see, it has left us with the logo traced out. So say your friend gives you a logo that you want to use, you can easily do that where you're tracing out the logo like so. So it has a bunch of extra stuff. You can delete that away, stuff that's unneeded, like that little R logo, sign we don't need. Then we have a custom logo. We can even resize it. So over here on the side, here's the little thing called Design Central. This in this program is really important. Design Central essentially lets you size everything and flip it around. It gives you most control over your image. So right now it says it's 8.65 inches. As long as you keep that proportional button checked, it will keep everything within size. So let's make this a little smaller. Excuse me. Most men's chests are about 7, 7.5. That ends up being the perfect chest size across. So let's try that. 7.5. All right. Now from there, we're going to be ready to cut already. But let's say for some reason we want to do this in multiple colors. So I'm going to select the C, and down here with the colors, I'm going to select blue. Let's do another C as blue. Oops, let's grab that. I'm going to select that one as blue. Help if I had selected, right? There we go. And we'll do these right here in red. And this one in a red. That red's more of a magenta. There we go. All right, y'all. So now I'm going to send this to cut. So the cut tool is right here on the top. You can also do Control L to go pull it right up. I'm going to click on that. And the cool thing is it brings you up to this cut menu right here. This here cut menu has your colors already pre-split. So see on the side here we have black, blue, and that magenta. So if I go over to my top toolbar up here, you can split up those colors. So right now it has it set to send all colors. I'm going to deselect that. So now it's only going to send the black part, the blue part, and the red part when I select each one of those individually. So they're all sized and they'll link up perfectly. Another cool thing about this software is if I load a vinyl into the cutter, it'll read the size of available material on that cutter and size out this area right here perfectly to be with that material. So example, let me go load some vinyl into our vinyl cutter. Oops. There we go. So I'm going to take my vinyl cutter, I'm just going to stick my vinyl all the way in. I like to go off this line up in the front here to make sure I'm kind of nice and straight. Also, these controllers go underneath these blue strips down here. That is your available cut area. Then you're going to lock it in, and then we're going to hit number 3 for sheet, and that's going to read the sheet size for us. All right, it just read our sheet size. Now before I do anything else, I'm going to just double check my settings. I have my speed set to 30 and my force to 10. For PerfectPress Soft, like I stuck in, will work just fine. So I'm going back to my software. Hi y'all, can you still see me? How's the chat going? Nothing? All right. Well, we'll keep going. So, now that I have my material loaded, I'm going to hit this button right here that says pole size with the question mark and blue kind of mini cutter behind it. I'm going to click on that, and that's going to go over here. It takes a second for it to load. Going to size this workspace to be exactly the amount of vinyl we put in there. So the benefit of doing this is, say we want to cut this multiple times. I can make copies, and it will fill it out to the best of its ability inside that workspace. So it's making copies or multiple versions a lot easier, so I'm getting the most out of my vinyl. Or for some reason I want to resize it, I can resize it right here, so I can go back to 1 and say I know that I can fit 3 across here, but there's an extra space right there, and I want to make it as bold as possible and get the most out of it. So I can expand my size so it will fill all that out as much as possible. Another thing I can do is I can make that spacing in between them even lesser. If you know your vinyl cutter is going to do great and cut right up to those lines, you don't need all that extra space, so we can get rid of that and make it even bigger using up our here as much as possible. Now the first color I loaded in there is blue, so I'm going to select blue on the side here. So we have the blue right here, and notice how it resized it to match the sizing. I redid it, but it's not going to fill out these spaces on the side as well. So you can either keep it the same or just go with it. Or if you wanted to make it fit better, you could take it out of the software and position it even better within the design space. But since we're already in the cut menu, we're going to send it how it is. So I'm going to hit send. And before you hit send, a few things you always want to double check. Thing number one, this F down here, that's your mirror tool. When you're cutting heat transfer vinyl, you always want to double check and make sure it is mirrored because you're cutting on the back side. Second thing you want to check before you send, the cut weeding box. So the great thing about this software, it will automatically put a box around your things to make it easier to peel out weeds so you're not using up as much material. My issue with it sometimes is it likes on letters to run very, very close up to the edge on letters. So I'm trying to expand out the letters a little bit, the box from the letters a little bit so it's a little easier to pull out. So I'm just going to take this box here and I'm going to make it just slightly bigger. Like so. Like so. All right. Now I'm going to go to the third panel here, and I'm checking to make sure Send All Colors is turned off, Weed Border is turned on. The rest of this stuff's fine. I'm going to kind of, don't need to mess with any of this down here. Next, very important thing though is passes right here. For most vinyls, a single pass is fine, but on thicker vinyls such as glitters or some of the holographic or mirror vinyls, I would usually put that to a double pass. So passes are 1. This fourth tab doesn't really have anything you need to mess with. The auto weld occasionally comes in handy, but for the most part, you don't need to mess with that. And we're going to hit send. We know it's reversed. We have our blue selected. We have 3 of them we're going to do. We're sending it. So now it goes to our Graphtec vinyl cutter, and our Graphtec is starting to cut away that material. Can you all show the material cutting? There it goes. Do we have any chat questions or anything, y'all?
No, we just have a comment saying, this is awesome, I just bought this machine.
Great. Glad you're having a good time. So here it goes, just cutting it. So while this one's finished cutting, we're now going to load our next color. I'm going to pass this to my lovely assistant, Kayla. Kayla, can you weed this out while I show the fine folks how to cut? Thank you, Miss Kayla. So next color I want to do is the black, since black was the first in line here. And black was the one that I first filled out to try to get the most of this material. So here we go. I'm going to stick it in. You can stick it in from the front or back. It doesn't really matter. And you're going to, again, make sure it's underneath your pen trollers right here. I like to go to the front line here, make sure everything's nice and straight across there. Lock it down. It's a sheet, so we're going to hit 3 for sheet. And since it's already, as you can see in the software, set to the black, we're just going to simply hit send. And there it goes again, cutting. And the Graphtec's a fast cutter. I have it only set to about half of its speed that it's capable of doing. The cutter is much, much faster. If you're at home and you're watching this and you're using a Cricut or Cameo or something like that, or a print and cut, a scan and cut, you're probably thinking, wow, this thing is a much quicker machine than I currently have. And doing a test side by side with those machines, this thing averages 8 to 10 times faster than most of those machines are capable of cutting. So if you're in a business situation and you're trying to put out a lot of vinyl shirts, this is the best machine for that. And then again, I have this one cut. Miss Kayla finished peeling out our blue for us. So here's this one, Miss Kayla. Thank you very much. And I'm going to finish off by sticking our PerfecPress red inside our Graphtec. Once again, we're placing it right here. Now, I often get asked, what side do you cut on by new folks? So the main way to tell, don't go off of is it glossy versus matte. I get that all the time where you cut the matte side, not the glossy. Well, not all vinyls will have a matte back. Some will have a glossy back. Even this one has have probably a weird curing, so it looks a little glossy on the back. If it has glossy or weird spots on vinyl, that's never anything to be concerned with. That's usually the glue cured a little funny. But once it's actually on a shirt and it's heated, it'll adhere just fine, no different than normal vinyl. The main way I tell if I'm confused what side of the vinyl to cut is I honestly take my fingernail and I try to scratch into it. My fingernail will not be able to catch on a liner side, but on a non-liner side, it will be able to catch into it. Another thing, if you have really nice nails done or you don't have fingernails or something, you can always use a weeding tool. So take a weeding tool. On the liner side, you will not be able to get it to catch. It will just kind of scrape up the liner. On the vinyl side, it will catch right into it. And that's the easiest way and best way to tell what is the proper side of the vinyl to cut on. So again, we're going to stick the red vinyl into our Graphtec. I'm going from behind this time. Again, we're going to make sure the pin shoulders are right underneath it. I'm going to pull it up to that front line, make sure it's nice and straight. Now, a cool thing about the Graphtec, it has these lines right here. When you're using smaller pieces, those lines can really help you make sure things are measuring out and are nice and straight, kind of like little straight edges. Once you have it in place, you're going to hit 3 again for sheet for it to measure the sheet size. And y'all, we're going to now hit the magenta that we chose earlier, and we're going to hit the red check or red question mark right here to resize it to make sure everything is still reading properly. It probably is not going to size it too differently because it's been loading similar size sheets. And from there, we can, if we wanted to move this around, since I like how it is though, I'm going to just do all 3 right there. We're going to hit send. And there it goes, cutting away. Yeah. Thank you, Miss Kayla. So Miss Kayla cut out our Ola of the Coca-Cola. And here's our red. So I'm going to peel out the red just to show y'all. So here we go. Can y'all view here? So for the red, I'm going to grab a corner from that weeding box, and I'm going to just peel from there. I'm using the JSI wooden weeder. And I'm just peeling out all that excess material. Like so. And weeding, you know, is always the funnest part of vinyl. You know, it's kind of like a reverse puzzle. And if you ever have a hard time seeing like your cut lines, sometimes picking up, of course, it makes it easier to see. But I also found taking your vinyl and doing it like this, like a tight roll, and moving it back and forth, can tend to make those lines a little bit wider and easier to see. So again, I'm going to just kind of do this. So my eyes aren't as what they used to be. And that's going to expand out those cut lines, just making it even easier for you to see. I've heard of folks also putting baby powder and foundation on top of vinyl. I don't recommend that, but it does work. I would recommend baby powder, just a hard shake gets rid of it. Foundation tends to stain it. But I don't wear foundation, so I might be wrong. It might not. But when I was told that, I thought it was kind of interesting. All right. Got another one peeled. I'm going to let Kayla finish this one off while we start pressing. So we have this part of the coca. We have this part of the cola, the ola. We're going to press them all together. Let me grab a scissors, y'all. I'll be back in 1 second. Thank you, ma'am. So let's take our ola. Let's take our co. Does the screen look crazy behind me right now? I bet it makes my heat press disappear. Oh, Oh, okay. Not the same shade green. All right, y'all. So I have a StarCraft heat press right behind me. And it's about, well, it's heating up. It's at 187. Looks like the auto off turned on me. So we're going to just give it a second. But I'm going to lay my shirt down like so. Make sure it's nice and straight. Get that sleeve out of there. And again, like I've said in past classes, always use your shoulder to help strain everything up. Give it a pre-press to get wrinkles and any moisture out for only about 5 to 10 seconds, not long at all. There it goes. And now it's only at 200 degrees. We'll give it a few moments to, and we'll start pressing these layers on there. Any questions, y'all? Anything at all? All right. If you are on our Instagram or Facebook Live, switch over to YouTube. Type in YouTube.com, and then in the search PerfecPress HTV. You'll find my lovely face and a green screen that actually has stuff on it, showing what I'm doing on the computer, y'all. And it's shot on a nicer camera, so you get better views. But if you do like Instagram or Facebook, you're still there as well. I'll try my best to explain things. Thank you, Miss Kayla, for finishing cutting that out. So we have our parts of the Coca-Cola. While this heats up, I like to take my vinyl when I'm doing multi-color layers like this, and I like to just pre-put it together, make sure I like how it looks. So I'm going to simply literally lay it together like this. Coca? That's how it's spelled. We're going to do that way. I'm kidding. So we're going to stick our Ola, this, Coca-Cola. Easy. What a interesting small soda company, artisanal soda company. All right, we're at 46 there. This new StarCraft heat press heats up really quick. It's a really great heat press for the money. For only $350, it is killer. I would put it on par with $1,000 heat press. And it's got a good warranty. It's pretty awesome. And where are we at? 254. It's getting there. Once it hits about 275, PerfecPress Soft will work at 275. So we'll press it here in just about another 15 degrees. While we're there, let us go back to our software, and let's start something else while that heats up. So there's our Coca-Cola. I'm going to delete it out. Again, I did change the colors. So quick refresher. The way I changed the colors of these letters was I would simply click on the cut line, and then down here we have a color bar, and I just selected various colors here to change what it looked like there. See how I changed the C to a green? And then when you send it to your cut menu up here, it will have that color added. See that, y'all? One more time. I'm going to change the color of this amount of lines here. I'm going to hold down Shift because I want to add extra things to that that I'm selecting. And now I'm going to change all the colors of those. Let's do a purple, or almost a periwinkle. And now we have that periwinkle added, blue, green, and that magenta. See how easy that is, y'all? Doing multicolored designs with this software is as easy as can be. All right, where's that temperature at? 289. We're good to go, y'all. So I got a multiple layer design. What am I going to do to make sure everything is lined up nicely? I'm going to start with that blue layer because it has a little bit in each section. I want to take it. I want to place it 3 finger lengths from the collar. And we're going to press it for 15 seconds. Ooh, stay green screen. And going. Now it's getting all melty. It's getting all pressured. It's stuck to the t-shirt. And it's done. So PerfecPress Soft is a hot peel, so we can peel that right away. You all see that from right where you all at? That was a weird sentence with a lot of y'alls in it. All right, so now we're going to do our red layer. I'm going to put that right in. But we have exposed vinyl. First layers are fine because the vinyl is protected by the transfer or the. But once you have exposed vinyl, you run the risk of it sticking to the top unless you have it covered with a piece of Teflon or parchment paper or silicone paper, butcher paper, a non-stick sheet. So I have some silicone paper right here. I'm going to cover it so it keeps the rest of it non-exposed. And we're going to press again for 15 seconds. You can go only to 8 and it would stick just fine as well. Even lower, you're doing multiple layers. But today, I'm just keeping everything at 15 seconds because that ensures the strongest hold possible. So here we go. And again, it's a hot peel, so I can peel that red layer away right away. And we'll finish with this final black layer. And I'm just placing it right here. Make sure everything looks like it lines up. We have exposed layers, so I'm going to cover it. And here we go. We're pressing again. And we got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom! And we're pulling away that layer, y'all. And now we have a nice, small, artisanal soda company t-shirt. Multi-layer design. Real easy. Now let's talk about print cut. Ugh. So here we go, y'all. So for print cut, we're going to go again to Google, and let's just pull up, let's do 90s cartoon logo. And let's do Rocco's Modern Life. So we're going to copy, going to Control V, and we're going to paste it in here. So we got this logo. First thing we're going to do, we're going to go to Bitmap. We're going to click Make Transparent.
So apparently we're lagging right now.
We have a lag.
Very intense lag. We're losing data connection occasionally.
Well, we're doing the best we can. All right. Sorry if there's a little lag there. We're trying to get to less lag. You know, computers and technology and all their funness. Again, we're going to take this design. Let me just start from fresh. So we're going to take our design from Rocco's Modern Life here. We're going to copy that from Google. We're going to paste it into our Graphtec Studio Pro. We're going to select the design. We're going to go to Effects, Bitmap, and then we're going to click Make Transparent. Make Transparent looks like a little magic wand tool almost, and you're going to select whatever area in the design you want to disappear. So normally that's going to be the white area around the design. So we're going to click that, and we're going to hit the green check mark. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to go to Effects, Contour Cut. You're going to select it to say contour. You don't want rectangle or ellipse. You want it to round the whole design. Then you have your line tool here. The straight line works the best. You don't want to do the dotted lines or anything like that unless you're trying to do like a knockout where you can pop it out easily. That's a little more advanced. Let's start with just a straight line today. And then you're going to make how much of an offset that is. The bigger you have, if you can see, it puts a line around it. When it's set to 0, it's exactly right on it. So we're going to set that to 0. And then you have a with holes. So if the design has holes in it, you'd click with holes and it would cut out the holes in the center. Once you have it the way you like it, you can change the color. I like to do reds and greens so it's easy to see counting on the design. Once you have it the way you like it, you hit the green check mark and you hit apply. From there, now you can move it around. You can see it has that contour cut mark around it, but it's not good enough for the vinyl cutter yet. Vinyl cutter would know to cut the shape right now, but it wouldn't know where is the shape on the design. So the way we fix that, is that we will go, first we want to size it. So we're going to do this on sticker paper, so we're going to do this at 4 inches, and we don't want too huge. And then we want to go up to Effects, Contour Cut Mark. And then you're going to make sure all these are right around 0. Sometimes it will put a number at the end of here. I usually 0 it out, but if it puts a number back on there, usually like a 0.4, it's not going to mess anything up usually. Next thing I want to do is, I find Graphtec 4-point type 2 works the best. You can experiment with all the others. Technically it knows to read them, but I found 4 points type 2 does work best. Next we're going to go to our options control. And then in options, you don't need to mess with any of this down here really. The only thing that's important really is the margin. I like to keep that margin under 0.5 of an inch. 2.85 is usually the sweet zone on there. You're going to hit OK, and then you're going to hit the green check mark. What that does is now it has these brackets around our design. So now I'm going to send it to print to our printer. So I'm going to go File, Print. The printer today we're using is the Epson XP 1500. We're going to do 8.5 by 11. We're using our StarCraft printable paper. So with the printable adhesive paper like the StarCraft, the key with that one is it's thicker. So you want to send it as like an envelope or a thick paper setting, or your printer might have issues feeding it. I'm going to hit OK. And we're sending it to print. My assistant Kayla is going to run out there and grab it for us. It should be just printed here in a moment. And right here I have something that I pre-printed earlier, a Rugrats logo. So what's going to happen is we're going to stick this into our vinyl cutter, and it's going to read these registration marks, then perfectly cut out our design. Now here's the key. These registration marks, the vinyl cutter's very finicky with these sometimes. You want to make sure that they're almost 2 finger lengths or a full inch from the edge of your paper, or it's going to really struggle to read them. I found it works absolutely the best when it's about a full inch from the edge, and then it'll have no issue. When you're too close near that edge, it tends to wig out and cause all sorts of problems. So even though you have maybe an 8.5 by 11 or a full 11 by 17s of printed area, you really need to take an inch off of every side. Does it have Rocco's Modern Life on it? Yeah, bring it in. That's it. Kayla brought our print, our Rocco's Modern Life print. So before we put this in the vinyl cutter, we're going to put some laminate on this. So let me scoot this over. So on sticker vinyls, such as the StarCraft, you put laminate on them so they last longer. So if you were to stick this just directly on your car outside, it would fade probably within 1 or 2 afternoons. When you put laminate on it, it extends that life by a week or 2. Any inkjet printable, though, is not going to last long term. Inkjet printables are really for short-term uses. If they're indoors only and like on envelopes or something, they're probably going to be fine. But anytime you stick them outside, they're not going to hold up to the rain and sunlight. They're going to fade away. Even though this has UV protection, there's only so much it can do. For true long life stickers, you really need a solvent printer for something like that. So I'm taking my laminate, and I'm very carefully, sorry y'all, let's try to get a good view of this. I'm going to U it on there, try to get everything nice and smooth. And then I'm going to take a squeegee, which is right here, and I'm going to squeegee this on real good. And you want to make sure the squeegee's on there good, because if you're cutting a sticker out, you want it to be able to read the registration marks. If it's not good, it can make it kind of cloudy and have a difficult time reading the registration marks. So we're going to now stick it in our vinyl cutter. So we're going to adjust these pen trollers here so it's right on the edge of the paper, like so. Again, we're going to do what we did before, bring it up to this line here, make sure everything's nice and straight. I'm going to pop it, and we're going to hit sheet, because again, it is a sheet. All right, now we're going to go back to the software for a second, y'all. So in the software, y'all can see, we're going to click up here. So the normal cuts we send with this cut plot button right here. The one next to it with a red line underneath it is the one we're going to cut for a contour cut. So we're going to click that. We're going to make sure it is facing the same direction that we have it loaded, which it is. We're going to click the question mark like we did before to make it sized properly. And it might not move it much because it's probably pre-sized. And now we're going to just hit send. But before we do so, this little menu right here. This right here is telling you that you position your vinyl cutter's cut head in between one of those brackets. So on the Graphtec, what you're going to do, you're going to go over to the position button, and you're going to hold down the button until it goes in between those brackets there. And we're pretty good right now. So once you're in the brackets where you want them, you're going to then adjust the condition or the force of it. For this material, I found a force of 15 usually works just fine. Enter, condition test again. Now the force has been changed to 15. We're going to go back to the software and hit that OK button. And what's happening now, it's going to read those registration marks, like so. And now it's going to perfectly cut out our design. Awesome. So now we can pop it. And it should peel out if I got my cut settings right. Now I didn't do a test cut beforehand because I assumed my settings, and that's a bad thing to do because I was wrong. I'm going to stick it back in. It didn't cut all the way through. Luckily, because it's a contour cut, it'll be able to read and cut on those lines twice, and it'll be just fine. But we're going to, again, hit sheet. And this time, instead of shooting in the dark, let's actually do a test cut. So we're going to do condition test. We're going to change that 15. We're going to move that up a little bit more. Let's do a 18. Hit enter. And then we're going to do a test cut. So we're going to hit the left button and hit enter. So a test cut basically does a real small cut to test and make sure it is cutting properly. Do y'all have my weeding tool by chance? Thank you, Miss Kayla. Ah! Nope. So we're going to go over to the vinyl cutter, and we got our test cut right here, and we're going to make sure it can peel out fine. It's still kind of tricky, so I'm going to boost up the force a little bit more. So we're going to raise the force to 21. We're going to do a test cut. There it goes. And we're going to check to see how that peels. And that time worked like a charm. So that's our proper setting. Again, we're going to put the head into those brackets. Like so. And we're going to hit send one more time. And it's reading those brackets. And it is cutting out the design. Ooh, this heat press is hot. There we go. And now it should peel properly. So there we go, y'all. Now we have a sticker that's able to peel out. And you can stick on whatever you want. Rocco's Modern Life sticker. All right, do we have any questions?